This week on the Honey Darling Show. This is the water and this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within.
Duh.
I can't remember what she came here for. I can't remember much of anything anymore. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone.
Welcome to the Honey Darling Show. This is our second Twin Peaks episode. There have been 5 more episodes since we did the last one. Some pretty crazy ones, so we're going to talk about that. Is there anything that you thought of for like a further reading thing? I guess I did a bunch last time for this one, but I haven't thought of a new one yet, I think. What did I say last time? I said Riverdale.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said you should buy the toys, because I didn't really have anything that was directly related.
Yeah, but that was fine.
If you really liked the episode of all the crazy experimental space...
Yeah, we're probably going to mostly talk about
Flying.
episode 8, but we'll talk about the other stuff that happened. Episode 8 was this insanely awesome, ridiculous, experimental, black and white craziness.
But if you liked that,
yeah.
you could check out any of the Philip Glass movies, Naqoyqatsi, Naqoyqatsi, and Polu Nachanaya Naqoyqatsi.
Is that what they're called?
No. The first one is called...
Is that what they're called, or are you just clearing your throat there?
No,
It's
they're called something like that. Naqoyqatsi is right, I think, and Naqoyqatsi is right. And I always forget what the third one is called.
Oh, I was like, man, those are crazy names. I haven't really heard of these. I was going to say, if you like that sort of crazy stuff, like watch any of David Lynch's stuff. Watch like EraserHead if you haven't seen it, because it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, except EraserHead is not that big, like with the imagery of the bomb and all that, which we'll get into later, but definitely watch some of David Lynch's older, weirder movies. Especially, or watch like Inland Empire if you can get a hold of that. That was his last directorial like movie that he did before this. So
All the Philip Glass movies are like, images set to his ethereal
to
music.
to the orchestra, whatever stuff he does.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool even if you're not stoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually think I ever watched him stoned, but I think you could get pretty sucked in.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch... I watched that episode 8 drunk with Jeremy of Nintendo Maine. We watched that and John, and that was pretty interesting. We were just talking about what we thought it meant. But, those are our recommendations for that. But since we're already starting to get into that, do you want to just go ahead and get into that episode in particular? Or do you want to talk a little bit like those couple episodes that happened before that?
Yeah,
let's
get some timeline things happening here.
Well, 6 and 7, I don't remember what happened in each episode, but I know that, I think 7 was the introduction of Diane, right? Like
yeah,
where you saw Diane as a person, played by Laura Dern. Who was the star of Inland Empire, which is what I was talking about before. So, and she was also in Wild at Heart with Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Which is like one of the... I mean, there's only a few movies I like Nicolas Cage in, and I liked him in that one.
Is that the horse riding one?
No, Wild at Heart is the weird... It's like a sort of a strange... it has some like fairy tale stuff in it, like sort of with like the Sleeping Beauty weird stuff in there. But it's like he has the snakeskin jacket, and he talks about it a lot. And like him and Laura Dern are dating, but they're like on the run from like her evil mother that's like trying to track them down. And he's like sort of kind of like an Elvis guy, and like Chris Isaac's that Chris Isaac song is in it. Like that was kind of what like made that movie.
Yeah.
That made that song that big was off of that soundtrack.
Yeah.
It has like one of my best lines and one of my favorite lines in it, where like Nicolas Cage keeps talking about his coat. Where he's like, "This coat represents my individuality and my belief in personal freedom," is what he says through the whole movie. But he wears this like weird snakeskin jacket, but he tells everybody about that whenever they ask about it.
Sure.
So, there was a Vandal song that says that in it. I think it's they say it in the "I'm Not Going to Change My Pants" song. It's in that. or they reference that line about his jacket and his personal freedom and all that. But yeah, it's a weird movie. Harry Dean Stanton's in it also, which we've seen in the last few Twin Peaks episodes.
Totally.
Which is another one of David Lynch's favorite guys. But yeah, it's worth seeing. It's weird and fun, and you get to see Laura Dern's crazy cry face in that too a few times. But they're it's sort of like I don't know, it's like Natural Born Killers before that, I guess, kind of like in that Bonnie and Clyde sort of like on the run couple, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of just does their own thing, but they're in love and crazy and all that. I guess that's one way to explain it.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's one of the less weird. It's a little bit more like
more realistic.
Well, it's like more normal, like the way the story plays out. You know, like it's compared to other David Lynch stuff.
It's got a more linear plot.
Yeah, it's more linear. It's easier to follow, I guess. It's a little more straightforward.
Sure.
That's what I want to say. But yeah, she is Diane. I was watching. There was this interview with Kyle MacLachlan on Facebook that he did, like this live interview. I'm like on a Twin Peaks page, whatever, that I liked, and it pulled that up, and I watched it when I was like unpacking on Thursday, and he was just talking. He was just answering random questions about stuff, and somebody was like, how do you feel about Laura Dern playing Diane? And then his answer was like, well, did you ever think that anybody other than Laura Dern would play Diane?
How did you picture Diane? I guess I always pictured her more like a mousy brown-haired,
yeah,
not so striking, and not so drunk.
Not so drunk, right?
And maybe not with such a refined taste in mid-century modern furniture.
Well, I think that this might be something that developed later with Diane. Maybe she was that person, like in the original Twin Peaks stuff.
Well, totally.
And since, like, maybe it was when Coop went
disappeared,
went missing, or maybe like some shit happened with the FBI, or maybe she got fucked over in some way, she became jaded towards her job, is what I thought, maybe.
Sure.
Because she's out, right? Like, she doesn't work for them anymore.
Yeah, she's out. And she wasn't coming back for anything.
Yeah, Albert approaches her in a bar, because I forget which episode it is, but the FBI agents do find the evil Coop. Oh, no, they find him because he gets sick and he drives off the road and he gets arrested.
Pukes up what'd you call it?
Garmonbozia.
Yeah.
Is what it's called. It's like this weird cream corn stuff that's pain and sorrow is what they called it in the movie, in the Firewalk in the movie. But yeah, he drives off the road. Somebody finds him. They find out that, you know, he was wanted probably multiple times because he did a lot of murders and all that. And
yeah.
So they do. So David Lynch's character and Albert, Miguel Ferrer, they all go and meet him. And Miguel Ferrer like goes and meets Diane at a bar because he wants her to come meet Coop to see if he's okay.
To see if he's real, he's the real Coop.
Yeah, because she knows him so well. And I almost kind of thought that Diane like wasn't a person. That Diane was just his tape recorder.
Right.
And that those tapes never really went to anyone.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking in the original series. That he just talked to it. It was just like his Dear Diary or whatever.
His friend.
He would just say,
yeah.
You know, Diane, but she does send him stuff. Like he asked for the earplugs, and he does get the earplugs in the mail. So I guess that would defeat my theory of her not being real. But
he has to send her the tapes.
Yeah,
and then couldn't he just go buy some fucking earplugs? I'm just saying.
I don't know. Twin Peaks is a weird place. They might not have earplugs there.
They might not. They only have 3 songs.
Yeah.
Now they have a lot more, but I mean,
yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, some great songs. You can actually find it on Spotify. Somebody's made a Twin Peaks soundtrack playlist that you can listen to on there, which I've listened to. It's great. So you can hear all the fun new bands that have been in there. Our Au revoir Simone was one of the ones I really liked. That was the all-girl keyboard rock band.
The 3 keyboard girls.
Yeah, forget what the other one was. The band is the Chromatics. That's the one I was trying to think
I
of.
was close.
Yeah, the Chromatics. But that's the one, the female singer, and she has a couple other band members. But that band's cool. I listened to one of their albums. Even though a lot of their songs do sound like that song that was in the Twin Peaks one.
They're like Moogs. Are they the Moog people? The synthesizer people?
No, that's our Au revoir Simone is the synthesizer people.
Oh.
She's the one that had like the slow... I'll play it in the intro or outro or whatever on the show.
Okay.
But it's a good song. She actually wrote it for I think it was written for Twin Peaks, because some stuff is off of an album, some of it isn't. So I think that one was written for the show.
Oh, sure.
Because it doesn't show up in any album; it just shows up as a single as part of the soundtrack. So.
Sure.
So I figured they wrote it special for that. But yeah, there's been a lot of interesting bands. So I don't know if you mentioned it on the last Twin Peaks episode that we did, but they are releasing a double album with all of the bands on there. And so far they've been pretty interesting. There was one At the end of the last episode that we saw, that we could talk about later. Unless you want to talk about it now. That last one?
Let's wait.
Okay. So yeah, there was a couple ones that were interesting in there. You listen to that on Spotify. But what else happened other than Diane? Well, Coop got put in jail. He made some sort of weird call that and he knew something about the guy that was holding him. He had some sort of like blackmail on him, so he was able to get out.
Oh yeah,
that was the reason that he got.
He was like, I know about McCoy or whatever, and the guy was like, oh shit. So he asked for a car to be there. He wanted a gun, and he wanted a cell phone.
Yeah, and he asked for a particular driver also.
Somebody else who was in jail.
Yeah.
So he had to free 2 people. They had to get out. So they got out.
Well, that's when it goes into the craziness of episode 8. Begins with him getting out.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was I don't know exactly when it happened, but
I was to say
we found out that Coop in jail, evil Coop, his fingerprints are slightly different. One of his fingerprints is backwards or upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? The FBI intern lady or whoever that other lady is.
Oh, yeah, and he said that he, like, singed his thumb or something, or burned it.
He was like, why would they... It's like an impossible thing that they put it backwards.
Yeah.
One of his fingerprints.
Well, they have throughout the show, there's all these things about fingers, like fingernails. Like, you remember they found the letters under the fingernails of all the people that were killed?
Back in the day.
Yeah, so in the original series, that was a thing. So I wonder if it's, like, with that, with, like, the sign of Bob, because he had, like...
That's interesting, honey.
Because I think eventually the letters spelled Bob out at one point.
I think they did.
Like, what they found under the fingers and all that.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about, like, regular Coop for a minute. Let's talk about Dougie Jones. He's still kind of having a hard time with stuff. Well, he started, like, drawing a staircase sort of on all of his papers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he was having, like, a vision.
Yeah, because he goes to work. You know, he goes to work like he doesn't know what's going on. I'm surprised they haven't fired him yet.
But apparently he's doing a really good job.
But he goes in there and he draws like what looks like this really rickety staircase. You know, like he does like the steps.
Yeah.
On all these
But then
papers.
he like circles different things.
Yeah.
And through that, his boss finds out that someone else in their company is embezzling or is doing something with the policies that's illegal.
Yeah, like he handed it to his boss, and there's a part where he looks at it and he's like, "This is great. I'm glad that you showed this to me." And like the way he says it, I'm like what? He just like doodled all over it. But yeah, I guess he found.
But while he was doing it, you remember he was sitting at the kitchen table, and he looked off, and he had like a Black Lodge vision.
Yeah, he's been seeing the one-armed man.
Yeah,
like in the floor.
Yeah,
where you can see the carpet and all that, and he's talking to him.
Right.
Or the floor, whatever it is, the chevron, you know,
Yeah, I think it's tile, probably.
Yeah, whatever it is. And, well, it did separate as a solid thing when he got...
Oh, yeah, maybe it's painted wood.
When he disappeared, so...
It's made of, the material of the netherworld or something.
Yeah, I just recently watched, like, those first... I think it was the first, like, 4 episodes or the first 3 episodes. I watched, like, a few of them again, like, with Jeremy, and, there's some stuff I noticed that I didn't notice before, like when Coop leads the Black Lodge and he's in that cube.
Yeah.
On top of that cube is the bell thing, which we'll see later in episode 8. The thing, you remember the big bell that was in the house that the tall giant guy was standing next to?
Yes. Oh yeah, that huge bell.
Yeah, that was on top of the cube that he went to.
Oh, interesting.
When he left the lodge.
Yeah.
So that same exact bell is there. And the girl like pulls a switch on it and then she touches it and it shocks her and she gets thrown off into nothing.
Space, yeah.
So I don't know, but the bell that you see in episode 8 is supposed to be from the past.
Huh.
So
that's interesting.
Which we haven't gotten into yet. But there was the assassin. There's like there's the shorter
man.
Hitman.
Yeah.
Who got sent after Dougie.
He has a name like Naqoyqatsi.
Yeah. And had the car blown up yet in our last in the first 5 episodes? I don't remember. Where Dougie's car gets a bomb put on it and the guys explode.
It blew up a long time ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was post episode 5 or not. If we talked about that already.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was before. Well, before.
Yeah. But Dougie has problems. I'm pretty sure the stuff where what's her name?
Naomi.
When Naomi Watts goes and gives him a talking to and like won't pay him all the money back. I'm pretty sure that was post last episode. Was in like the last 5.
Yeah, so we know Dougie owes some gambling debt.
Yeah, he owes like so much. And what is she?
It was like they wanted $50,000.
Yeah, and she gave him half.
Yeah.
And gave
and
him
she
this
was
whole...
like, don't you fucking come after me.
Yeah.
This is all you're going to get. if you want any more, we'll fucking kill you or some shit.
Yeah, she basically went and was like, okay, I'm going to give you 20%, which was originally what he owed, plus, he's like, I'm going to give you 20,000 plus an extra 5,000, which is way more than you deserve.
Yeah.
Which is half of what he owed, and this is what you get. And she basically just gave him a talking to. It's like, stay the fuck away from my family. Even though she could have easily paid for the whole thing, since he made like, what, 450,000 or something like that?
A lot of money.
Yeah, from being Mr. Jackpot. Which we've seen some behind the scenes with them, like, sort of trying to track him down, or they say he's not allowed in the casino anymore.
Yeah.
So, but Diane, I don't know if we said, like, Diane, like, definitely doesn't believe that that's Coop when she talks to him.
Yeah, but then she got...
Well, she got a text from him later.
Yeah.
In the last episode, in episode 10.
Can we just talk about things that are, like, tangibly happening, and then we'll talk about the episode where the intangible happened?
Okay, you want to talk about 8 last?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just talk about everything around 8, and then we'll get into episode 8, because episode 8 is its own thing. So yeah, like, there were two before and 2 after. So it was 6 and 7, and then 9 and 10 are the last 2 we just watched. And the last one that was on last night, she got a text from him about furniture or something. What
Something
was that?
is lively. The dances in the kitchen are lively. I don't know what it was.
I thought it was like the furniture is lively or something like that. But it's some sort of
code.
It's
obviously a coded message.
Some sort of coded message that he does text her. And she doesn't believe that it's him. And whenever they talk to him, his voice is really weird.
It's really weird.
Whenever they talk to him in the cell, it's like very like
slow and deep. It sounds like it's run through a Batman filter.
Yeah. Well, also another thing that Coop said, that Colin McLaughlin said about because he is wearing contacts. He's wearing black contacts when he's the evil Coop. And he said that it was modeled after like lizards is what they're trying to go for.
Oh, sure.
You know, like lizards that kind of just stare and they don't blink.
Yeah.
And their eyes are dark like that. That's what they were going for.
Oh.
For his design, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the evil, which is cool. But yeah, that's where, and that's kind of how you get, I never noticed like how, because he doesn't really blink. It's like a lot of staring and all that. And he has the dark eyes.
So we can talk about how he got out of jail.
Yeah. Well, we did. He tried to blackmail that guy.
But then he's driving with his friend.
Yeah, he's driving with his friend, and then they pull over.
He has to pee. His friend tries to kill him, shoots him.
Well, that's when 8 goes crazy. He shoots him, and then he gets attacked by all these, like, sort of homeless-looking people.
I don't think they attack
dirty
him.
Clothes. Well, they come up and they, like, rub his body, and blood goes all over him.
Yeah, but they're healing him in some way.
Yeah, well, because he comes back to life.
But yeah, all these, like, I mean, they look like dust miners, like ghost dust miners. They're like all covered in one layer of soot.
Do you remember Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
Of course, oh yeah.
Do you remember the like shadows that like take you away when you die? It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Except they're less like screamy.
For me, it was straight out of Mulholland Drive, that creepy homeless man that like glides out from behind the dumpster. Do you remember that?
It's been a while.
Well, it's like one of the scariest things I've ever seen, because
I just remember the old people that were yelling at them in the restaurant.
But there's this part in the restaurant where they like go outside and they're just walking down the street, and all of a sudden this like homeless, he doesn't walk out, he must be on a dolly or something, but he just glides out in front of them, and it's terrifying because it's not what you would expect to happen ever.
Yeah.
And he just is scary because he's like all covered in this one, like it's like dirt brown.
Yeah.
So they look exactly like that guy.
Yeah. Though that's basically, that was at the beginning of 8, showing him like getting all this stuff on, all these guys on him, and that dude, the other dude, just kind of books it, right? He just gets
back in the car, can't really understand what he was seeing, runs away, and he calls somebody
and tells him about it, that he saw some weird shit.
Yeah.
The one we haven't talked about, that weird guy. Well, there's a lot of weird guys. The guy who was at the Bang Bang bar, who was smoking and pays off the guy.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
So there's sort of like this, definitely a villain character.
We think he's Audrey's son?
Oh, well, I don't know whose son he is, but he is, it was revealed in episode 10 that he is Benjamin Horne's grandson. And Johnny's in there the last 2 episodes, too. Johnny was the mental guy. He was differently abled.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what he was slow or something. Laura helped him, like when she was live, she tutored him. He was the one. He was, you remember at the funeral. He's the one who yells "Amen."
Yeah.
And then Bobby's like starts doing it too.
Yeah.
right? Or was it? Yeah, it was Bobby. He was like, "Amen," and then he gives his whole speech about how nobody cared for Laura while she was alive and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny was one of the Jays that they were talking about when they were throwing the rocks at the bottle.
At the bottles.
He was one of the Jays.
Yeah.
It was Johnny and Jock and One-Eyed Jacks and all that stuff. Or Jack with the one eye. But yeah, he's a Horn. You saw talk to Benjamin Horn, his ex-wife does, and he like kind of tries to shake her down for money at the end of the last episode that we watched.
And he steals all the money out of her safe.
Yeah. And he also attacks that there was the girl who bought the pies at the that was
R&R.
Yeah, at the R&R there was a girl that was buying pies there. And as she's leaving, the double R with Norma and all that, and as she's leaving, she sees him run over a kid.
Yeah.
Because he's driving messed up on
Let's find
something.
out his name.
But I think that was just unveiled, that he was...
He's a super greasy.
Yeah.
He's not as gross as Amanda Seyfried's boyfriend.
Yeah, do we even talk about him? He looks like a messed up Macaulay, like a messed up older Macaulay. No, I guess you could say he's kind of messed up, but I like how they don't post any of the credits for it until after the show, until like the next day. Because I tried to look for people that would be on the cast, and it didn't show any of them when we were watching it yesterday.
Of course,
because David Lynch is super tight-lipped about it. I hope that they haven't been losing Richard Horn. That's his name. So Dick,
and he is
Dick
a fucking
Horn.
dick.
There was he was in the Bag Bar. He was smoking. Like some guy tells him not to. He gives him like $200, $500. I don't know how much he gives him. He gives him some cash.
Yeah.
In his pack, he said, "Kira, do you want to take my pack?" And his pack's filled with money. His empty cigarette pack. But I'm pretty sure the girl that he attacks, like he sort of like attacks this girl in there.
Yeah.
I think I worked with her. I think she was on Savage
He like
Youth.
molests her, sort of.
Yeah. She looks like one of the girls that was on that movie that I did, the last one.
I mean, could be.
It looks like Grace. Well, she was in Under the Dome, so I'm pretty sure she was in Twin Peaks too.
Sure.
She didn't mention it, but you saw Wendy Roby a few times.
Yeah, we did see Wendy Roby,
and
she plays Nadine.
Yeah, that she plays Nadine. Jess knows her. I've met her before too. She's very nice. But I really loved that last episode. Dr. Jacoby's been doing some sort of like podcast of sorts, or like some sort of like live chat or whatever, like YouTube live, whatever he's doing. Talking about like shit shovels and about how the world has fucked you over, and buy these golden shovels and it can help you like dig your way out of the messed up world that we live in. And Wendy Roby / Nadine has been watching the show, and they actually show where she's watching it at, and she's watching it the Silent Drape Runners shop.
Yeah.
So she actually got her Drape Runners going, which is awesome. Like, so she
That's
actually
hilarious.
She like her dream happened, and she made money off of it. And I really love that nod to like that's just like the second episode, or no, the third episode technically of the original show.
Yeah.
Of her Silent
She's
Drape
gonna get
Runners.
the cotton balls and make the absolutely silent Drape Runners.
Yes, the cotton balls, but they dropped the oil on it, and that's how it gets all silent.
Yeah.
But I love that they did that. They showed that she had gotten successful in her drape running business, so she actually has that now.
And in the window, also, the drapes are like slowly opening and closing and revealing a golden shovel.
Oh yeah, and there's a shovel there too. So she does have one, but I figured she did, or she ordered one because she was watching it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're like together.
Her and Jacoby?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't somebody else watching it too, or just her? Well, she was the only one that was watching.
We only saw her watching it twice that I know of.
It was Laura's mom was watching like animals kill each other on TV. Is what she was watching. I thought that she was watching the Golden Shovel thing, but she wasn't.
No, she was watching like some kind of.
No, she was watching some weird National Geographic animals killing other animals thing. So yeah, that was a great reveal from last episode. What else? Side stuff. I mean, well, they said the assassin goes after Coop. He beats him, like breaks his hand. He gets arrested. You see a little bit more. There was a little bit more Matthew Lillard also last episode.
Oh yeah, he was crying.
He showed up and he said that he had gone into a different dimension and saw Major. Like they're talking about Major Briggs now, which is Bobby's father.
He did say that. Yeah. He said I think he had gone to the Black Lodge, maybe.
Well, you saw Major's face when Coop leaves the Black Lodge. When he goes into that cube, you see like a stretch image of his face go across the sky, which I thought was really cool. Because that actor's dead. And they're saying that Major
maybe he
Briggs
just is in that other dimension.
Well, they said that
he's in the in-between.
Yeah. Well, they said that Major Briggs died in between peaks, I guess. He died sometime between the second season and now.
Right.
That's what they're saying. He died off camera, or he died off season, however you would say that. It said that there was a fire at his house or something like that, and the Coop saw him before. So maybe they're saying the evil Coop did it. Possibly.
Maybe so.
They also said that Coop was at that crazy high-rise with the glass box. The evil Coop was there.
They showed us a picture of him.
Yeah, they showed a picture of him being there.
Yeah, she said this was on one of the first memory cards.
Oh, okay, of what they'd been shooting.
Yeah.
So they saw him there.
So he was there. If you think about it, we saw like lots of memory cards already
Yeah.
filed away. So he was there long before those kids died.
Well, who do you think owns that place? Like, they said that some millionaire owns it, but he didn't know, like, the kid who was there, he didn't know. He said he never met him.
Yeah.
But do you think it's like that? Because there's one guy who's, like, in a building that keeps talking to another guy. I know that seems
Wow, that
very
is
vague.
not specific, honey.
Well, there's the guy who owns the casino. I was thinking it could be him.
Okay, the guy who owns the casino.
The guy who owns the casino who, like, is after Mr. Jackpot and all that. He was actually in iZombie. That guy. He was
yeah.
Blaine's dad. And he has the weird dancer girls that don't really listen
slaves.
or something.
Yeah.
But there's also another guy who's been sitting at a desk. He's a recognizable actor, but I don't remember his name. And you've seen him a couple times talk to somebody about something. I know it's Patrick Fischler is his name.
Show me his picture.
He plays Duncan Todd. This guy.
Oh yeah.
You know, he sits at a table and he's been talking. Yeah, this is like his.
Oh yeah, he's the one who sent the assassin after Dougie.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think that maybe he owns that building that has the glass box, or do you think it's just completely unrelated?
Who owns the building? Because what are they trying to do? What were they trying to do?
Well, I don't want to get into too much because it's going to go into 8, but I guess they wanted to capture the image of spirits coming out of the black box. But that thing that comes out and kills the couple,
yeah,
that's the thing that creates Bob during the explosion in the chapter 8, which we haven't gotten into yet.
Sure.
The like weird ghost thing that's like black and white and it's blurred and it's like a body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in episode 8 also.
Yeah. I don't know who owns it. Who knows about the Black Lodge?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just I talked to some people in Champaign while I was
but
there.
But don't the FBI, doesn't the FBI know about it?
The Black Lodge? I mean,
well, not the Black Lodge, but they know about that building.
Oh, yeah. So maybe it could be somebody involved with that, or maybe they who know who's owned it. I don't know if it's a thing to the show, like knowing who owns that, but just something that people have been talking about, like people that I've talked to about Twin Peaks who've been watching it. They've been talking about whoever, like who the millionaire that owns the... And I haven't really looked at fan theories because I don't want to, because I don't want anybody to...
influence your ideas.
Yeah, to influence how I feel about the show. I just want to, because like I've said, I've seen the original show multiple times, and I just want to figure it out on my own. Even though I have watched some recaps, like that have helped point out stuff that I didn't notice, but I haven't read like comments or boards or anything like that. But do you want to just jump into the big episode now?
Let's do it.
So, I just want to read that quote one more time. At the beginning of our episode, we said that really fucking weird quote. This is the water and this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within. So that's what those homeless soot-covered dudes say. And it sounds like something I would like write in my in the yearbook as a kid. Because when I was a kid, I wrote a hidden message from an Ugly Kid Joe album. It was, I'm looking for you, I've seen the light, I'm the fire without the one, and can only be you, my child. I wrote that in a bunch of people's yearbooks one year for junior high, and everybody thought I was some sort of crazy person. But if I would have heard that other one, I would have written that one on there too, the I am the water and I am the well.
You're a weirdo.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would have written on yearbooks when I was a kid, because nobody liked me anyway. So
well,
I
it sounds like something that you
there.
would like, you'd think it was deep and meaningful.
Yeah, but so we talked about... So Coop gets shot, and then he gets resurrected by these people. But I don't think that happens until after this. But doesn't it cut to like 1940.
Yeah.
Is that what it goes to? Because it shows like the bomb, the big bomb.
Yep.
The A bomb.
It's in Arizona.
Yeah, and
They're
also
testing it.
What I noticed when I was watching it again, and you said you noticed it too, was the when they're at the FBI building, one of the rooms has a giant picture of that bomb on the wall. Mm-hmm. Which is like, were they involved with that, or is that part of them?
Well, that's why I wonder too if they know about the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
Because if they created Bob, if the bomb created Bob.
Yeah, well, what's shown in that episode, there's the big bomb, and then you see that ghost thing that you saw come out of the box.
Yep.
And there's this sort of ectoplasm coming out of maybe its mouth area. It's coming from the head. That doesn't really have any features on it.
Yeah.
But as this like ectoplasm is coming out,
ectoplasm.
You see, and it's just like this big stream, but you see this ball with Bob's head come out of it.
Yeah.
So I guess I think what I read is like David Lynch is like, this is like the evil, like Bob is the evil that came from the ultimate evil of man, and the ultimate evil of man was the bomb.
Right.
Was the bomb that killed so many innocents, and it was like,
yes,
what you could say is one of the worst things humanity's ever done, and that is how Bob came from that, and that's an interesting aspect of it. But that's what he's trying to say, that he was that evil. But there's also another side where you go to this crazy, awesome-looking room where it's like all this black and white, and all this stuff is in black and white when it goes back to...
that whole episode.
And they do this... and there's this amazing performance by the 9 Inch Nails, which they call them the 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the episode. And is it Trent Reznor? He's wearing sunglasses and just plays this crazy song that kind of goes along with the whole episode. And there's like just all these shots of like the smoke like circling and like all these different lights going off in that. Do you remember that?
No.
It's part when they show the bomb explode. It's just it's almost like a tornado.
Right.
Of clouds going around, and it's really cool. Like it's like really cool looking experimental footage, basically. And I don't remember which happens at which time, but there's parts where it shows a convenience store being created. Do you remember that?
That happens, I thought, in the 40s. I thought it was...
Is that before?
Related to the bomb.
Yeah, I don't remember. Was that before we see the crazy room with the black and white design?
Yes.
And there's the girl in there on the couch and the giant. But before that, you see this it's like the motion of it's weird. Like sometimes it stops and goes backwards, but there's like those same creatures like coming in and out of this...
gas station, and they seem to they're
like building the gas station, or they're something.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, what I think that is in the I think it's in the Twin Peaks pilot, even in the very first episode, the arm, or the guy who doesn't have the arm, Mike.
Yeah,
he talks about how like him and Bob lived above a convenience store, and Leland also talks about how he met Bob at that convenience store. So I think that's the convenience store is what that's supposed to be.
So
it's like a 7-Eleven type. The gas station convenience store thing. So
those dust men, maybe they're also born from the bomb.
Yeah, I think they kind of created Bob, I guess, because they were around way back when.
Well, they seem to be in charge of Bob, even if they didn't create him, because they helped.
Because they brought him back to life.
Coop, yeah.
Because Bob is still
the manifestation of Bob.
Coop, yeah.
Yeah. So then we end up floating through space, and then we end up at this... space castle.
Did we mention when in the ectoplasm, there's also little eggs in there? Yeah,
there are.
There's little white eggs.
Oh, yeah, and then they land.
Because it's going to land and a creature comes out of it. But I think that's after we go to the castle.
I think it is.
So we go to the castle
through space.
Through space to this castle, and that's where the lady's sitting on the couch. Like all the furniture looks amazing. But that big bell thing that I talked about that was on top of the cube is there. Yep. And the giant is there as well.
Yes.
Standing next to it.
And she's having tea or something.
Yeah.
And does the bell buzz, or there's in some way they know that something has happened.
Yeah, and all of this is silent too. Like I don't think they say anything.
I don't think there's any words.
And there's a part after that they go to this theater almost, and they're watching the world through the screen, through the silver screen.
And so they see the bomb.
They see the bomb go off. They see Bob get created and all of that, the head.
Yes.
And the ectoplasm. And the giant, climbs a ladder or something.
And then he sort of floats into the air.
Yeah, and all this yellow stuff comes out of his head.
It's golden.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yellow, golden. It comes out of his head and makes this cloud. And out of that comes Laura. So Laura
Well,
is
it comes like a ball.
Yeah, a ball
with Laura's
with
face
her face
on
in
it.
it. So I guess they're creating her to combat Bob, I guess.
Yep.
And,
Maybe.
And
Sure.
the lady, she kisses Laura, and she sends it into the screen.
And you see it fly through space and like land.
And it goes
on
into
Earth.
the Earth. Yeah, because you see the Earth there. It goes from where they're at into the screen, and then goes into the Earth and lands there. So is that
Like a seed.
Yeah, and is that before the thing lands with the bug in it?
Yeah.
Because then you cut to like a 50s. It's like the 50s, right? You see
It's
like
totally
this,
the 50s.
You see this 50s couple with like the poodle skirt.
Very
like
young,
all that.
though.
Yeah. They like went on a date or something. They're talking to each other
To the gas
after.
station.
Yeah.
And he walks her home, and she lives far away.
Yeah.
And he walks her home.
He walks her home.
And then doesn't he get killed?
No, I don't think he gets
On
killed.
his walk back?
The people at the... no, he doesn't get killed. There's a guy... There's like a random couple driving.
You're right.
And one of the homeless guys, they say like, "Do you got a light?" Because they have the cigarettes hanging out of their
Oh,
mouths, like
yeah.
the really white cigarette.
They just keep
against
saying,
their,
do you got a light?
Yeah, against,
got a light?
Yeah, he'll say like, "I got a light," but he's like crushing people's heads, like he's grabbing them by the
Yeah.
head, and you hear it like cracking. And he goes to the radio station like that main guy does, and he goes to the radio station and he crushes this guy's head, and he starts saying that
I'm the
over and
horse
over
and the
again,
well
like I'm
and
the water, or this is the water, this is the well, the eyes of the white of the eyes of the horse, and that's like the white horse that you've seen in previous Twin Peaks episodes, and I always thought that was like the pale horse,
right?
the Revelation
from the
pale horse
from the apocalypse. Yeah,
but other people, a friend of the show, John, thinks that horses resemble slavery. I don't know if that means that's what he thought when he was seeing of it.
okay,
I guess because you ride them. I don't know.
okay.
But that's a different way of it. But I mean, it's such a beautiful episode. It's kind of one I've watched it a second time. I mean, I kind of want to watch it again, like just talking about it right now. But it's a beautiful episode to watch, and it's just like so David Lynch, greatest David Lynch stuff.
Well, the people who are listening to the radio pass out.
They all pass out. Yeah, they all pass out.
And then
there's like a guy working on a car that falls down. There's like a girl at a diner.
Yep.
That passes out. But also the girl who was on the date, she passes out. And when she passes out, this little creature that came out of the egg, like we were talking about earlier, the egg that landed on the ground, it broke open. There's this fly/frog thing.
It's super gross
It
looking.
has like frog legs, but with fly wings. And it like crawls up her bed and like crawls into her mouth while she's asleep.
Yep.
And my friend of the show, Jeremy, he thought that maybe that she was related to Laura in some way. That was like her mother or grandmother or something.
The only
was that
thing that
girl.
I would say that could refute that, I would think maybe that was Bob's mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could be that. Well, because
That
you could say that the egg was the Laura that they threw out in there also.
But I
could
thought
argue
that because it wasn't a golden egg. Laura was the golden egg.
Yeah.
So I thought that egg that had the creature in it came from the ectoplasm from the scary ghost thing that was born from the bomb.
Yeah, no, there were like eggs in there that you saw.
So I don't think that anything good came from that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the evil has come from.
Okay, so she could be the beginning of Bob then. That's what you're
Right.
saying.
That's what I think.
And there hasn't been anything touched on that. It sucked because, like, after that episode was shown, it was like 4th of July weekend. So, like,
So we had to wait a bunch of weeks.
So they skipped a weekend for Twin Peaks. And, like, everybody I talked to who were, like, watching the show were like, oh my God, I can't believe they skipped a week and we have to wait now. After seeing all this crazy,
Experimental.
visceral, like, imagery, whatever, like they just left us hanging for a week after that, and it was like, oh my God, and then it just kind of went back to what it was. But that was, I think that episode in itself, and I've seen articles, people like Rolling Stone, like writing about it, being like, this is the most insane thing that we've seen on television ever, probably.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it's just wonderful that they gave him that whatever fights, like we were talking about, like how they had fights before about like how to do it. I'm glad that they eventually were just like,
well,
hey,
I'm sure this is what they were fighting about.
just do whatever,
One of many
just
things.
do whatever the fuck you want,
But
and just.
this.
And that's kind of and like I said before, that's what I love about this show is the fact that unlike a lot of other revivals of older things, they're not trying to like cater to a mass market here. They're just doing what the story.
They're also not trying to do what they're not being like, okay, here's the formula that we used last time.
Yeah, they're not trying to do that either.
So it's going to work next time.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the exact same thing again.
Yeah, and it is fan service to a point, but it's not like, it's not like let's make the same show all over again, obviously.
No, that's something
It's
that
like,
I
let's make
really...
it-
Whenever anybody has asked me about it, that's what I've said. I've said, I really like it because it's not trying to be. But I've heard other people, my friend Mel, who works at the Shakes,
Yeah.
she was upset because it wasn't like the old Twin Peaks.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's... I mean...
Because we haven't really spent any time in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, we've just seen little characters most of the time, and it's much broader now. But it's still... I mean, it's about Coop now. Coop was always the main character, and it's about...
Yeah.
It's about Coop.
It's just
about
Coop's
Coop.
journey has gotten pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, he spent 25 years in the Black Lodge.
Yeah. He got laid.
Oh, yeah, he got laid. We completely forgot about that. That he goes to the doctor. Have we said enough about episode 8? You want to just...
Yeah, well, let's just talk about it again if it comes up naturally.
Yeah, so he goes to the doctor's office to get himself checked out because he's still kind of
His
off.
wife takes him.
He's still off. Yeah, Naomi Watts takes him there. And he like, his doctor takes his shirt off and, like, checks for his heart and all that. And she gets turned on by his weight loss
Yeah,
that he's
his
had.
felt physique.
And and they go home and have sex. And Coop he just has his arms out in the air, just like doing this.
Yeah.
With a smile on his face. So, yeah. But it reminded me of... the Orgasmo movie. Do you remember that? Like, do you remember the movie Orgasmo? You saw that,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Where like he's the Mormon and he's like gets hired to do acting, but he has to do like some of the sex scenes or like parts of them.
Right.
And there's a part where like the girl's on top of him and he's like, look like you like it. And he puts his hands out and does that.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me it's the same thing. But yeah, Coop got laid. I mean, I think he would have slept with Heather Graham's character in the original series. I think there's like a part where it's kind of like off camera.
Oh yeah.
But there's a part where he sees do you remember the part where you saw the red shoes walking down the hallway where Coop like pauses and he sees that girl wearing red high heels?
Yes.
That's a reference to Audrey because she used to wear red high heels.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still wondering if Audrey Horne is going to be part of this or not. Wasn't she in the cast
But
listing?
they said she got out of the fire.
Yeah, they did say she's alive.
Yeah.
And like I said, that I liked that. And I watched the last episode of the second season again, before I got in, when I was watching it again with Jeremy. And the EraserHead, Jack Nance, was there with her at the bank when there's the explosion. And what they said is that he saved her. And that he died saving her.
Right.
And that's so they made his character, because Jack Nance died.
A hero.
And that was like how he died.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool that they wrote that he helped her, that he like shielded her from the bomb. And that's what happened there. So she is alive, but we haven't seen her yet. And that guy that we were talking about, Dick Horn, Richard Horn, is he her child? Like, he would have to be.
He has to be.
And is it Billy Zane's kid as well?
Yeah, who's the baby daddy?
Well, because she did sleep with Billy Zane while he was there, but that was like during the show. Do you not think she got pregnant from that, do you?
She might have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When he like landed there with his plane and all that.
Well, her kid's not, is he 25? How old does that kid look?
I don't know. I mean, how old is the actor? He looks like he's probably in his 20s, right?
Yeah, so it's been 25 years or whatever.
Maybe 30s.
So it might have been Billy Zane, might be his pops.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested about that. And there was something, Johnny hurt himself in some way, and he was, I think it was in episode 9, he like ran into a wall or something. They show it for like very, very quickly, like for a second.
Yeah.
But when you see him in episode 10, he's like all tied to this chair.
Dining room chair.
And he has this weird teddy bear with oatmeal in its mouth. I don't know anything about that.
This mouth is the scariest mouth I've
and
ever
it's
seen.
just saying, hello, what is it saying? Like, hello, Johnny, how are you? Isn't that what it's saying
something
over and
like
over
that.
again?
But it has like, have you ever been to the Science Museum where it has the ball that has the electricity inside of it and you touch it and your hair stands up?
Yeah. Though they have those at a lot of different places.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm saying that I've not at the science and industry, but I went to the one at Robot World in Wisconsin.
I just said Science Museum. A Science Museum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing one at Science and Industry, but there probably is one.
Sure.
But they had one at the Cumberland Science Museum where I grew up. And, your hair stands up. And that's what it looks like the teddy bear's head is made out of.
Oh,
it's like
weird.
a clear glass ball
Like the
with
one where
lightning inside
where you
of
put
it.
your hand on it. And and you used to be able to buy small versions of them at Spencer Gifts.
And the teddy bear just has like eyeballs and this like creepy fucking mouth. And the rest of its head is that clear globe.
Yeah.
But it has ears. I don't know. It's fucking scary as shit.
Yeah, it's very strange, and it just keeps like talking to him.
Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his grandmother's getting attacked or no, his mother is getting attacked.
And he tries to do something for her, but he can't get out of the chair.
He can't do
So
anything
he
because
falls
he's
over.
tied up, and which is like,
Yeah.
I was kind of wanted Johnny to be like,
Well, I
beat the
wonder,
crap out
was
of that
he
guy.
in a wheelchair?
On the show?
Yeah.
No, he was just there was just something. He had some
Mentally,
sort of mental disability.
Sure.
But he would wear. Remember, he wore the
A helmet?
no the Indian thing.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
he
He
had-
wore the
he had the
headdress.
headdress, yeah, that he wore.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I just wondered if he couldn't sit up on his own, and that's why they had tied him to the chair.
Oh, okay. I don't know because I thought he ran into a wall like in that last.
Yeah, I don't
something
know.
like that. He hurt himself for some reason, and I was kind of like, "Is that Johnny?" Like I don't, and because it seemed it happened so quickly, but it is him.
Yeah.
So they are showing more of the Horn family, and Jerry is still lost in the woods.
Oh my God, Jerry's
He
been in
hasn't
the
found
woods
himself.
for what seems like weeks.
Yeah, I feel like he's just standing in the same place, like not knowing
But
where
is
he's
he
at.
going to wander into the Black Lodge? That's what I think.
Oh, maybe.
That's what I think is going to happen because he seems like he's in that forest.
Yeah, that's another thing I didn't notice at first is when the log lady calls Hawk
Yeah.
and tells him that something's missing, he goes straight to where the Black Lodge was.
Yeah, totally.
Like he goes to that pool, like the little oil pool or whatever,
Yeah.
and he goes there and looks around. And
Yeah.
he doesn't find anything, but it shows the drapes
Yeah.
behind the trees.
I remember.
And I didn't notice that before. Either that or I'd forgotten about it, and I was like, because I just watched that last episode of the second season, and I saw that pool, and I'm like, oh shit, that's where it is. That's where he
Right.
disappeared to.
Yeah.
And one, I think I mentioned it last episode, but when Coop originally quits the force, or when he decides that he's going to go back, like after they figure out who killed Laura, and he tries to leave, and then he gets cut off from the FBI, and he becomes a sheriff there.
Yeah.
His first goodbye, he says, Hawk, I hope you find me if I'm lost. So I'm hoping that Hawk finds him
Yeah.
later in the show because he's the one who's trying to figure it out.
Right.
But I'm hoping that he's the one that finds him because that's kind of how he says goodbye. He says,
Yeah.
he says, I hope that if I'm ever lost, you're the one that finds me. Is what he says.
Well, I hope so. I
So
hope Hawk can
I hope that's what they're working
help
towards.
him get out of his own brain or wherever he's stuck.
Yeah, with his
Yeah.
infant mind or whatever. I don't know. He's been in a different dimension for 25 years, so probably forgot how to talk. But he didn't forget how to fight. As like I said before,
He sure
defended
didn't, and he
himself.
didn't forget
really,
that he loved coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us would ever forget that we like sex.
I found that funny that he could do that. Well, I guess he just kind of laid there and was aroused, but
Yeah.
I mean he couldn't figure out peeing, so I thought that sex would be way,
But,
way more complicated.
he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
He was not
yeah, he
He was
definitely
the
happy
passive
about
party.
it. Though. Yeah,
in that experience.
definitely happy about it. So, what do you think? What do you think we'll see in the next 5 episodes? I mean, this is our second part of Twin Peaks. I'm still really enjoying it. I like that it's completely out there. I just hope that all in all, it's not a disappointment. But I don't think it will be. I think it's. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more craziness to happen. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, the resolution for me would be getting rid of Bob somehow.
Yeah, getting rid of Bob and getting Coop back, obviously.
Yeah.
Coop has to come back
Those
to
are really the
himself.
only two things that I care about. I hope that Coop will come back to himself.
What about Laura? Like David Lynch's character, Cole, he saw Laura.
He did.
Yeah, like
he saw her giant face when he opened the door.
Well, Albert knocks on the door, and he opens the door and sees Laura there.
Yeah.
And she yells and turns into Albert.
I'm wondering if... I don't know. I really don't know.
Because I know because Laura still exists in the lodge, or at least a version of her does.
Right.
Even though they've said different times, like whether it's her or not. But there is a version of her there. There's a version of Leland there also. So does she still exist? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Is it her doppelganger? Because we do know that they're
There's
doppelgangers.
doppelgangers there too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was also her cousin
Right.
as well,
Yeah.
who got killed too. So she could be there. Because there's also talk of 2 of them as being as the cousin that looked just like her.
Right.
Madeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's still a lot more questions, but yeah, I don't know. We're just talking over what we've seen so far.
I'm enjoying the ride.
I just hope we see more like 8, at least like one more like that. That's like just super crazy and brilliantly artistic. And I mean, David Lynch was a painter before he was a movie maker. So as you can tell, like
well, and we know he
with how
still writes
beautifully-
and makes music too.
yeah, with how beautifully framed that was, the whole set and like the way the ground and everything looked was beautifully framed. Yeah, he wrote the last song for that last episode that we watched. It was like there are no Estrellas or
No stars. Yeah.
yeah.
No
That's
stars. I didn't like that song at all.
Yeah.
I liked her voice, though, a lot.
Yeah, her voice is great, but
Pretty boring
Yeah,
song.
he wrote it with her and somebody else, and Moby was there, I guess, for a
Playing
second.
guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moby. Weird. So yeah, we're hoping to see more craziness with this in the future. And is there anything else you want to say about it, or that we might have missed? I don't know. We jumped around a lot, but we're just kind of trying to figure it out in our own way.
I think that's the only way to do it with this. And no, I'm excited to see where it goes. And I think even if nothing I want happens, I think I'll probably still have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want Hawk to find Coop eventually. That'd be a very nice payoff. But I feel like they're definitely pulling a lot from the original series, like referencing it or showing it. Like the Drape Runner thing was like brilliant.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
said,
that was super smart.
Like that was a big win for me. Like I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like so even if you don't see any more of Nadine, you know that she made her dream came true and she actually made money off of it. And there's some piece in there about her character, you know.
Totally.
Even though she's buying weird shit shovels and all that, at least she can afford to.
She's enjoying a strawberry milkshake and
She has her
and her drape running business.
Yeah, because she has her drape running business. I want to know what happened to. I really want to know what happened to Ed. We still haven't seen Ed.
We haven't seen Ed. I thought we would.
Yeah, we haven't seen Big Ed, and I don't know what happened to regular Harry Truman, but or the regular Sheriff Truman. Maybe he didn't want to be in the show, or maybe I don't know, or maybe he really got sick or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I wonder what happened to him. But I'm sure that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I want to know what became of Ed, because you haven't seen Ed, and like what became of Ed and Nadine's relationship, and you haven't seen him around Norma either.
No, we haven't really seen Norma.
Yeah. And who was and Amanda Seyfried's character, Shelley's daughter. We saw her with her scuzzy boyfriend.
At the trailer park.
He was picking on her in the trailer park. Oh yeah, we saw Harry Dean Stanton also.
Yep.
The owner of Trailer Park, which you saw in the movie in Fire Walk with Me. He helps them find the ring on the soil, the mound of soil, and he's playing a song with his guitar outside. I think Harry Dean Stanton's awesome. Like I thought he was hilarious in Repo Man, and
yeah,
I think he's a funny, great actor, and I like to see him.
He's got a great face for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, he's great, and he was in a lot of David Lynch movies before that. Like I said, he was in Wild at Heart, and I forget he was in some other stuff too. But yeah, I mean, I like where they're going so far, and I hope that it's. I mean, I'm sure Game of Thrones is going to kill it in ratings or whatever, but I don't think David Lynch gives a shit. I think he just wants to make what he wants to make.
Yeah, totally. And I think you're right what you said. Like, people who are Twin Peaks fans are Twin Peaks fans. They're going to watch this.
Yeah, we were talking about...
There are the people who have been watching it, and there are the people who are still going to watch it.
Yeah, because Game of Thrones premiered last week, or on Sunday, and I was like, oh, I hope that they're not going to lose a lot of their ratings, but I was like, well, the people who are watching Twin Peaks, like I said, are the people who are Twin Peaks fans, and they're not going to stop watching Twin Peaks, and probably nothing else is going to make them want to watch.
You know what else is like?
More.
Ratings aren't built anymore on the time of on people watching the show on the time that it comes out, because nobody does that.
Because that's why everything is instant now or streaming, because now you can watch it on your own time.
Right. So I don't think them being on at the same time it's really going to affect one another. I mean, I think people who are watching both are going to watch both, like us.
Yeah, I'm sure that Showtime got a spike. I mean, I paid monthly for Showtime, and I'll pay for it through all Twin Peaks. I don't care. Sure. It's worth it to me. You know, I've been waiting years for the show. So right. And a lot of people that I've talked to are watching the show are like, yeah, I waited a long time for the show, and you know, nothing else is really going to go above that in their list of priorities. So, you know, they'll watch Game of Thrones after or something. Yeah, or they'll watch them both whenever they want. Sure. All right. Well, I think we can put a pin in it right here. Yep. Put a pin in it, honey. Put a weird red door in it or something like that. We'll get a Twin Peaksy here. Absolutely. We'll put some water and wells and horses and all other sorts of crazy stuff in there. And make this the end of our second Twin Peaks episode. I don't know. We'll probably. Do you want to come back after 8 episodes after this, or do a 4 and 4? Because we've been doing every 5, but there's only 8 episodes left. Let's make that our goal to do a 4 and 4. Okay, so we'll come back after 4 more episodes and talk about what's happened then, and hopefully it's more crazy stuff like episode 8. So after episode 12, we'll talk to you again. But thanks for listening. You know, download the podcast, rate us, and all that, so we can get more likes and views and all that stuff. You can email us. thehoneydarlingshow@gmail.com. And find us on thehoneydarlingshow.libsyn.com. Yeah, or you just search it on iTunes. Just search The Honey Darling Show on iTunes. Sure. Or pretty much any podcast. It should be on all podcast apps as far as I know. So you should be able to find it wherever your podcasts are sold, as they say. Sure. Anyway, thanks for listening. We're your hosts. I'm Trey, and this is Jess. We never introduced ourselves.
You know who we are.
Yeah. Well, if you're a first listener, that's us. Our picture's on the thing that's on your
We are us.
on your podcast listener thing. Anyway, thanks for listening to us. We'll talk to you later.
Adios. Moonaluthu Vutsu, I'm ready.